Alright, you antisocial weirdos, now I know you ain't got shit to do, so let's learn a game that plays at the ideal player count. 1. Friday, a solo adventure, is designed by Friedman Freese and published by Rio Grande Games. Now, I know what you're likely thinking. Should I sit in the front seat or kick it in the back seat? I am afraid to say, however, this game has absolutely nothing to do with Rebecca Black's 2011 opus by the same name. Instead, Friday refers to the native man that Robinson Crusoe, noted asshole of classic literature, rescues from cannibals and subsequently names after the day of the week they met rather than learning the man's name. However, in Friday's retelling of the events, Robinson is a hapless, helpless shipwreck victim who washes up on your pristine, colonizer-free island. It's up to you to get him fit enough to survive so he can get the hell out of your life. It's like this game was made for me. Now we're going to be setting up for the easiest play setting, though the rulebook does offer 3 ways to make the game harder once you get the hang of it. So find the card that says very stupid and has a -3 on it. Now find a mirror. Note the striking similarity. Now put it back in the box. Don't even look at it. You don't want that card. It's too intense for you. You can't handle that heat. Set the 3 playmats out in front of you, forming the play area. Now, this is the way the book recommends doing it, and I've learned not to argue with rule books. They rarely give in, and they can give you these little cuts that hurt more than they seem like they should. Take 2 life point tokens and set them aside, then take the remaining 20 as your starting health. Take the phase cards and stack them green on yellow on red so that the green is on top. Shuffle the pirate deck, draw 2, set them aside. Shuffle the 3 difficult aging cards, the ones with the white hair and beard, and set those face down on the blue mat. Then take the remaining aging cards with the brown hair and beard, shuffle those, and put those face down on top of the difficult aging cards. The 30 hazard cards get shuffled and placed face down on the green mat. The 18 Robinson cards go face down on the brown mat. Now, as with most deck builders, your starting cards suck. Robinson sucks. You gotta make them stronger. Now, there are 2 primary ways to improve your deck and your chances at returning to a once again quiet life: adding good cards and getting rid of crappy cards. Each turn plays thusly. Draw the top 2 cards of the hazard deck. Choose 1 to face and 1 to ignore. Fight the chosen hazard. The numbers here on the side show how many fighting points you need to have in order to defeat that hazard, depending on the current phase. The white box on each hazard shows how many cards you can draw for free, placing those to the left of the hazard. Now, you must draw at least 1 card, but once you have, you can choose to stop drawing at any time, even if you have more free cards that you can draw, which you might do if you've already met your goal and you don't want to risk drawing into an aging card, or if you're choosing to lose the encounter, which we'll get to. If you've met your limit on free cards you can draw, you can choose to sacrifice a life point 1 at a time to draw another card, placing cards drawn this way, to the right of the hazard. Some cards have special abilities that help you out in various ways that you may activate after they are drawn, turning them 90 degrees to remember that you've used them, as each ability is only usable once per encounter. I'm not going to go through each special ability because the book does, and I'm not your mom. But be careful, because some of the aging cards also have special abilities, and where you may activate a fighting card's special ability, you must activate an aging card's special ability, unless you can destroy it before you have to. Once you've drawn at least 1 card and have activated all the cards that you want to or have to activate, add up all the values of fighting and aging cards in front of you, including negatives. This is the total value of your fight for that encounter. If it meets or exceeds the value on the hazard card for the given phase, you've won. Take the hazard card, rotate it 180 degrees, and now it's a Robinson card. Put it in your discard pile along with any cards you use to face that hazard, and move on to your next encounter. If you lose, as we did in this case, you lose health points equal to the difference between your fight value and the value you were shooting for, and the hazard goes into the hazard discard pile. Now, in this example, we just needed to hit 2. We drew a -1 and 2 zeros for our free draws, then sacrificed a life point to draw another card. This gave us +2 life, which is great, but it didn't help us with our fighting points. If we stop now, we lose 3 life. Alright, now focus up, because here's where it gets good. You may spend a lost life point to trash a card that you've just played. A Robinson card costs 1 life point to trash, an aging card costs 2. A helpful reminder of this is on the top of the card. Now, there are some caveats here. You can't ignore fighting cards to make the difference greater so that you can trash more cards, nor can you opt to sacrifice additional life to trash more cards. Also, you can only choose cards that are still face up in front of you at the end of the encounter. Those are the only ones that you're allowed to trash. Now, as with most deck builders, when you've run out of cards, you take your discard pile, shuffle it, and make it your draw pile again. However, in this case, you're also going to take the top aging card without looking at it and shuffle that in as well. But be careful here. If you run out of cards in your draw pile and you don't have any aging cards left, you die. Robinson dies. You lose. Play continues in this way until the hazard deck runs out, always drawing 2, discarding 1, and facing the other. Now, if at any point there's only 1 card left in the hazard deck when you get to this step, you may choose to either face that card or ignore it. Face it, you coward. When the hazard deck runs out, flip and shuffle the hazard discard pile and make it the hazard deck again, and set your green face card to the bottom of the face pile, revealing the yellow face card. I hope your deck has gotten stronger, because the hazards just got hazardier. More hazardous. Play continues exactly the same, except now you're going for the number in the yellow box on the hazard cards. Play through all of those, and then you go to the red phase. If you've beaten the red phase, you move on to the pirates. Yar. Choose one of the set-aside pirate cards and face it, with the number in the top left being the number of free cards you get, and the number in the top right being the value you're trying to hit. All else plays as normal. Once you've beaten the first pirate, discard all your cards from play, face the second pirate. Now, if you manage to beat both pirates, then Robinson has sailed away and you get to return to your hammock and Mai Tai and friends that respect you enough to say your name. Win or lose, add up the values on all of your fighting cards, including negatives. Add 15 for each defeated pirate and 5 for each remaining health point. Now subtract 5 for each aging card you still have left in your deck, regardless of value, and 3 more for each undefeated hazard. And that's your score. And that's Friday. Now get off my island.